When we come back, President-elect Trump has promised to pull out of the Paris climate agreement again. And while filling out his cabinet, he's chosen oil and gas industry executive Chris Wright as his nominee for energy secretary, a fracking magnate, a climate denier, a champion of fossil fuels. We'll be back in 20 seconds.
Yeah. Find my Galaxy Fold. Find my Galaxy Fold. Oh, fuck me.
Change Without Us
Well,
by the Reverend Billy and the Stop Shopping Choir.
chat.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report, as we continue our coverage from COP29 here in Baku, Azerbaijan. I'm Amy Goodman. We look at what Donald Trump's re-election as U.S. president means for the climate. Clean energy and environmental advocates are raising alarm over Trump's nomination of oil and gas industry executive Chris Wright to serve as energy secretary. Wright's a fracking magnate who's long championed fossil fuel production and publicly denied the existence of the climate crisis. He's the CEO of the Denver-based oil field firm Liberty.
Where did I put my... Oh, great.
These 5 terms, climate crisis, energy transition, carbon pollution, clean energy, and dirty energy, are not only deceptive, they are in fact destructive deceptions.
Wright is also known for drinking a fracking fluid bleach cocktail on camera to prove it was safe. In a statement, Trump said Wright would be ushering in a so-called golden age of American prosperity and global peace, unquote.
Got it.
North Dakota Governor Greg Burgum as his pick to lead the Interior Department, a position currently held by Deb Haaland, who made history as the first Native American to ever serve as cabinet
Taco
secretary. Trump wrote in a statement, "We will drill, baby, drill, expand
You didn't know it was my
farms and energy
name.
production to grow our economy and create good-paying jobs," unquote. Burgum was also tapped to head a newly created National Energy Council, which will seek to, quote, enforce U.S. energy dominance, unquote, globally. For more, we're joined here in Baku by Manish Bhakna, president of the NRDC, that's the Natural Resources Defense Council, and Natural Resources Defense Council Action. So we just have a few minutes at the end of this show. First, respond to Chris Wright's nomination, the climate denier, the fracking magnate, the man who drank bleach and fracking fluid on TV.
It is deeply troubling. It is startling, but shouldn't be a surprise in light of the fact of who nominated him. It's particularly jarring as we sit here in Baku at the climate COP. We're already flirting with 1.5 degrees. We have already kind of behind the game in reducing emissions. And now we have not only Chris Wright, but we have Doug Burgum as the head of Interior, potentially, and Lee Zeldin as the head of the Environmental Protection Agency. These are serious positions. They're senior cabinet positions in the next administration for the United States. Charged with protecting clean air, clean water, creating jobs for the future. And all of these nominations are just deeply troubling. They represent significant regression at a time when we need to see much, much greater progress.
So what are you doing about it? We said nominate. We didn't say they are.
Boneyard, what's good? I'm just cooling, man, running this board.
So how are you organizing?
We are trying to shine a light on who they are and what they represent and how out of touch they are with what the public actually
Can't see my
wants.
Facebook shit for some reason.
When we see polling around the importance of clean air, clean water, protecting public health, creating jobs, lowering energy costs. The thing is that clean energy has been demonstrated to be more affordable, more reliable. It's more energy secure than a lot of the other options that people are promoting. We even see with the unprecedented
Tell a friend to tell a friend.
in the last few years with the Inflation Reduction Act.
Man, I'm about to be
Set of investments.
I got office hours here till about 10.
Inflation Reduction
Then I'm
Act
gonna be
5% of
up at the studio,
Republican districts.
probably doing some live streams today and just sorting the calendar.
Republican districts. We are demonstrating
What you got up, though?
what's good for the entire country.
Just seen your Taco Tuesday shit.
And so we're going to do what we can to shine a light on their record and try to see if we could find the right people to lead these agencies. But if that is not possible, we will do what we can to hold them accountable.
So, having Energy Secretary Chris Wray.
You on today, boy?
Not only does President-elect Trump at this point want recess appointments, he doesn't want them backgrounded by the FBI. When you don't have a hearing, you don't learn about people's financial investments, conflicts of interest. Trump himself has refused to find ethics sign.
What's good? We just posted up in here. Democracy Now!
What would that mean? A man
Is running right
who's
now.
to gain an
Okay,
enormous
goodbye.
amount as head of energy company, Liberty Energy.
All you have to do is follow the money, right? All three of these candidates, you look at someone like Chris Wright, we heard what he said, and we know where he would actually benefit. He's the CEO
Heard.
of a fracking company. We have Doug.
I probably could use a link up at some point, but I'll tap in.
Brokering a deal between President-elect Trump and oil and gas billionaires in Florida a couple months ago, when President-elect Trump said that for $1 billion he will provide favors to the oil and gas industry. You have to follow the money. And that is one of the biggest challenges we see in politics in the United States today, which has been exacerbated since Citizens United back in 2010. More money into politics, more corporate money into politics has just created the challenges we're
Yeah,
seeing today.
I feel
Talk
that.
more about North Dakota Governor.
I know, I don't even wanna- I just wanna go back home, low-key, lay down,
Battle
do all my
in the
work from
last
home,
years
but
around the Dakota Access Pipeline.
I don't think
Energy
that's happening
transport.
today, boy.
But what it means to have him as head of the Interior, and not only head of the Interior, Donald Trump has said he will also serve
Where's
as
my-
energy czar.
This is a huge job, right? The Department of the Interior is responsible for our public lands, about conservation, about how we use those public lands wisely for today and for tomorrow. And so he will be in a position to expand oil and gas leasing in offshore water, on land, at a time when just last year's COP, as you mentioned earlier, the international community recognized we needed to transition.
Taco
away from
Tuesday. I think I might pull up on you on that day,
largest
so.
oil and gas producer in the world, increasing rapidly. And now we have someone who has promised to further accelerate
My chat is full.
oil and gas exploration in the United States. Perhaps most notably, we'll be lifting the pause on LNG exports that the Biden administration put in place just 6 months ago. And with someone like him responsible for energy across the entire administration, it creates real serious concerns about how we make sure that the United States stays focused on a clean energy transition. The one thing I would say, though,
We have 10 seconds.
is that
We have 10 seconds. All right, we're about to do this transfer.
It's gonna hit speed bumps now, but it will move forward.
Manish Bhatna, President of the Natural Resources Defense Council and Natural Resources Defense Council Action. That does it for our show. Our deepest condolences to Karen Ranucci on the passing of her father, and a happy 80th birthday to Danny DeVito. I'm Amy Goodman here in Baku, Azerbaijan.
This is Tope Dagger with the American Federation of Teachers National Office, and you're listening to 90.1 FM KKFI Kansas City Community Radio.
Support for KKFI provided by the Johnson County, Kansas Museum, preserving and celebrating our community's rich history. Visit us to explore exhibits that bring the past to life, from the early settlers to the vibrant suburban growth that defines our region today. The Johnson County Museum, where history is more than a story, it's a shared experience. For more information, you can go to jocomuseum.org.
Get ready to tap into the pulse of knowledge and entertainment on air with Nikki Brooks. Every Wednesday at 6 p.m. on KKFI 90.1 FM, we bring you inspiring interviews with local artists, innovators, and industry leaders right here in Kansas City. Join us as we uncover their stories, dive deep into their craft, and explore what makes our community thrive. Whether you're an aspiring creator or just love great conversation, this is the show for you. Tune in on air with Nikki Brooks. Creativity and leadership meets community. Don't miss it. Every Wednesday at 6 p.m. only on KKFI 90.1 FM.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if this is your first time hearing this, do not hit that snooze button. Starting your week off right every Monday morning from 6 to 8 a.m. Energy and jams in the morning, playing new school, old school, throwbacks, and whatever it takes to get the vibe right. Tune in every Monday morning from 6 to 8 a.m. only on KKFI.
The views and opinions of this program are those of its host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 90.1 FM, KKFI, Midcoast Radio Project, or its staff and volunteers.
Welcome to Jaws of Justice Radio on 90.1 FM KKFI, Kansas City Community Radio. It's Monday morning and my name is Foster. Jaws of Justice Radio investigates how we can achieve justice from a system of laws deeply rooted in economic, social, and political inequality. We want to dispel misconceptions created by the news and entertainment industry, politicians, and our educational system. We hope you will listen.
I
Thank
forgot,
you
I
for
forgot I
joining
was
us
even
here
on
on
live. I'm
Jaws
over
of
here just
Justice
chilling.
Radio.
I'm like, okay.
We will replay our show from
Has
July
anybody tapped in?
3rd
What's
when
good?
our host, Macy Jones, spoke with his guest, Halsey Ellingberg. Halsey is a native of Kansas City. He won the Cruiserweight World Championship boxing title. Halsey had a career as a cruiserweight boxer beginning in the 1980s. He fought some of the greats and he won more fights than he lost. Sadly, however, Halsey found himself working two careers: the legal boxing career, which could have brought him greatness, and a career in the drug trade, which cost him his boxing career as well as 26 years of his life because he was put in prison. Now released from prison, Halsey is glad to share with listeners the story of the pitfalls of living a double life, one legal and one illegal. Jaws of Justice is glad to share his testimony with you. Further, we express our sadness at the passing of our friend Macy Jones. He was a great colleague and we miss him. To replay one of Macy's hours gives us some comfort. We will play our calendar at the midpoint of the hour. Items in the calendar can also be found on the episodes page of KKFI website, kkfi.org, and also on the Jaws of Justice Radio Facebook page. On Jaws of Justice, we examine how to find justice in our society. Justice will not be served until those who are unaffected are as outraged as those who are. Now, our show.
Jones, and this is the Jaws of Justice Radio Show on KKFI 90.1 FM. Today I have with me Mr. Halsey Ellingberg. From Justice to Success, a professional boxer who lived a double life and in so doing so ended up
Somebody tell me something. What's good? We just in here
own actions.
running the Jaws of Justice show. I guess I could like play some music while I'm chilling. We want to do that?
Yes,
I cannot see any other chat right now for some reason, so anybody chatting and not
it's a privilege to have the opportunity
Instagram, I don't know what the fuck.
my opinion. I assure you that I will answer your question with complete honesty. But before I speak about myself, I have to free my mother, Mrs. Betty Lamar Ellenberg, and my father, Mr. Halsey Ellenberg Sr., from the way I chose to live this life. I always felt the love surrounded me, so many tears fell from my eyes.
Adrian Truth, what's
They
good?
always there for me.
I'm just posted up doing this, running the board for this show right here, Jaws of Justice now. Running the board for Jaws of Justice.
Clear. had to do was to be obedient. And I was 13 straight back to lay at my feet. May Allah forgive me for being such a disappointment. I only ask that they rest in peace and that in the hereafter they linger in the gardens of paradise.
Mr. Ellenberg, that's a beautiful thing that you did just then by observing your parents. You know, a lot of people try to blame their parents, wasn't able to do this, that, and that for love, or clothes and feed them, you know, had struggles and trials, but you had a beautiful home life. So, who is Hosey Ellenberg?
Well, I'm a former WBF Cruiserweight champion, known in some places as the Midwestern Matador, and in others I've been called
Midwestern Matador.
I'm a native of Kansas City, Missouri, and I was recently released from federal imprisonment after serving 26 consecutive years of incarceration.
Damn. 26 years? Holy shit.
So now you back, but that the hell you back from is the one that you placed yourself in. Is that correct?
That's true.
Okay.
My plight in this life was to try to serve two masters. And what I mean by that is that
I mean,
on one hand, I wanted to be a professional fighter, and I wanted to do right. I wanted to climb the ranks. I wanted to be a world champion. I wanted to do boxing was my first love. But on the other hand, I wanted to be street. And
what do you mean by street?
I wanted to live a criminal life. I wanted to make fast money. And in time that became addictive. I became addicted by it. You know, I mean, it was easy for me to make and obtain the things that I wanted out of life, you know, doing these things. And eventually, you know, I paid the price.
So that was the existence of the double lifestyle you talked about by being a professional boxer and a criminal at the same time.
Yes, of course.
So when you was in the ring, you boxed, then when you got out the ring, you went into your criminal lifestyle. What? Selling drugs?
Selling drugs.
Drugs was
selling drugs was my main activity, main source of accumulating piles of money at a time. And like I say, I became addicted to that lifestyle. You know, wearing expensive clothing, jewelry, driving big pretty cars, and pretty much having the woman I want, pretty much, you know, those things become good.
So this is what brought about the double lifestyle for you. And with that being said, what brought about the change in your life from coming forth from that lifestyle? I know there was positive role models in your life, people that were of influential nature to you.
Well, I had influential people in my life from my childhood. People like Mr. Joe Reamer. He was a wonderful coach of mine from the Don Bosco Center. Mr. Robert Nix. He was a great teacher, a great mentor in my life. I can't leave out Brother Suleiman, Eddie Bronson. I learned a lot from that guy. Jerome, he was part of my life. And then just other guys played a part in me climbing ranks, such as Don King, Peyton Shears, Mr. Peyton Shears. He steered my boxing career in the right direction. And I let a lot of them down because of my decision-making choices that I made.
So at the time that you had these positive influences in your life, you were still active in your criminality.
Well, I think that when drugs hit kind of hard back in the 80s, that I found myself believing that it was a more lucrative pursuit, and it was easier. It was just easier for me to make a living selling drugs, regardless to the wrong. And bear in mind that I understand completely now that what I was doing was wrong, because I was selling poison to people. You know, and throughout my years of imprisonment, I went through many trials and tribulations that bring me to the point to where I am now with regards to my insights about life and about trying to serve the two masters, trying to live what we call straddling the fence. You know, you want to be good on this side of the fence, but you're doing evil on the other side of the fence. You know, so what I did learn is that it's never gonna come out.
They did fly
at
zero
least for me.
I'm saying, use a maggot. You should have died when you was a baby.
Well, Mr. Ellenberg, I don't think it's gonna work for anybody.
Yeah.
Eventually, justice has to be a part
Should have died when you was a
in
baby.
the equation. You know, like you was talking about serving two masters.
Last
You
time.
can't be a doctor, you know, from 9 to 5, and then when the 5 o'clock hour would hit, then they out there, you know, selling these prescription drugs. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Sooner or later, it's going. I say that as an example to show that sooner or later it will catch up with you.
Okay. Yes.
So, Mr. Ellenberg, with that being said, how do you see yourself today? Because a lot of people today
Little third party
are out
was the
there
word, boy.
living that
Running the
criminality life,
board.
Well, I see myself.
causing havoc in the
They
city.
talking with a former welterweight
Right.
champion from Kansas
Well,
City who
I see
did
myself
29
as an
years in
example
jail, boy. 26
for
maybe.
young men, young men and women, because this
Also
is for
sleepy.
all young
Also,
people
what you got
I'm
up today?
speaking
Can you slide?
to. And I see myself as an example.
I don't even know if you can hear me over here, but let me know if you can slide.
Follow. And I feel that I myself would be great in delivering that message to young people because of the years that I lost out my life, of the things that I have to endure. You know, I had to endure a lot to survive 26 years of incarceration.
26
You
years,
don't
yeah.
just wake up one day and you've done 26 years. You know, it's trials and tribulations all the way. And young folks need to know that that's not a place that they want to end up in. You know, I say that it's a living hell.
Oh, fuck.
And it's nothing to take for granted.
Well, I know that there are some that may listen to this program that say, right now, I'm in living hell. Right now, because of their situation in society at this moment, is a living hell to them. They don't have to go to prison to experience what you experienced to say that. What can you say to an individual, a young child that is going through this situation right now without having experienced that?
Okay. My perspective with regards to some of the things that young people are faced with dealing with in their life at this time. I make a comparison, and I know it's totally different from when I was coming up. You know, like when I was coming up, when I make that comparison, it's like I was living in an oasis when I look at how things are in this day and time. But I always look at how we were in that day and time, and I compare it to how things are now. And I say this, that we have to make more or place more emphasis on integrity. I think that young people in this day and time, they need to be taught, things that evolve around humility. Because me, as a youth, I was very arrogant. And it's my arrogance that caused me to be obedient. It's my arrogance that caused me to roam the streets and do wrong. It's my arrogance that caused me to, how you put it, slip away from being just a pure fighter, just being a pure individual. And because of that, I suffer consequences. And I tell young people all the time that you have to humble yourself. But in that, a lot of young people have to be told and they have to be shown that they have nothing to prove to anybody. Because when you're dealing with conflict and you're dealing with resolution, a lot of people, they have to understand that you have nothing to prove. And they have to also understand that it's important that you ask yourself, what are you trying to prove when you're in a certain type of situation? Because when you're in those type of situations, if you're trying to prove something to somebody, then that's going to turn out all bad.
Was there peer pressure? Did peer pressure play a part in you living a double lifestyle?
I would say that I had good examples in my life in that we had like street codes, or what we call the codes of the game. And we had people out in the streets that was recognized for this, that, and the other, looked upon in a certain way, and when you are in their presence and when you're around that type of culture, yes, it's a certain amount of peer pressure on you, but 9 times out of 10, if you out there, then you just being you anyway. You just being you anyway. So it's not really a matter of peer pressure. Peer pressure can have an effect on the innocent, but on guys that's actually out there and living this type of life, they don't have room to blame their peers because they out there just for what they're doing. They're out there to reap benefits from their actions.
So you're saying that it's a choice. As an individual, you made the choice to go in that direction as opposed to stay in the professional field that you was a part of.
I played both parts. I love being a fighter, I loved it. That was my first love in life, being a fighter. And I was a great fighter. And I climbed the ranks. I traveled all over the country. I've been invited to Don King's training camp. I've been invited to Roy Jones Senior's training camp. I've been invited to Floyd Mayweather Senior's training camp. Way back in the day when it was Golden Glove, I've been invited to Johnny Taco's right down the street in Vegas. I've been invited to Cookie's Resort in New York, up in the Catskill Mountains. Been in the mountains in Vegas. I've been training and fighting all over this country. All that time, I was climbing the ranks as a professional fighter, and I was fighting nothing but world-class fighters.
However, even with that being said, you still chose a lifestyle contrary to all the beauty that you had in your life that you called an oasis. And I was meaning to ask you, what did you mean by that word, oasis?
I mean by oasis that I'll compare it to the way youngsters have to be sheltered in this day and time. When I was a kid, my mother could let me out the door and she wouldn't fret on whether or not I was gonna make it home that night. Matter of fact, this old saying, don't let the street lights beat you through the door. And my mother would send me to the store, grocery store, to pick up, different articles and whatnot. And she wouldn't have to worry about me being harmed. You looked all over the city, you could step out your door and you would see merry-go-rounds, kids playing on merry-go-rounds. You could see kids on teeter-totters, swing sets and whatnot. And it was just a different lifestyle. We had great icons. We had people that we looked up to. I mean, we had people larger than life. I can honestly say I watched giants walk the earth. People like Muhammad Ali, you had been people like Joe Frazier, you had people like James Brown, you had people like Rocky Marciano. You just go on down, just go through history. Look back. You don't have to go forward. You look back and you can see the difference, a great difference. And then you ask yourself, where are all those people at? You don't see those souls no more. You don't see those characters in this day and time anymore. You don't see those people.
So you're saying that the youth of today need someone to truly believe in them, as opposed to always being on the put down.
You've been listening to host Macy Jones' interview with Halsey Ellenberg. Now we'll break for public service announcements in our calendar. We will return to Halsey's compelling story in a few minutes.
Calendar for the week of November 18th. Legal Aid of Western Missouri provides free civil legal services to low-income and vulnerable people in Jackson County, Missouri. Interested individuals can call 816-474-6750 to apply. Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America is a very active group of mothers and others. You can learn where their meetings this week will occur at momsdemandaction.org/events. Find and attend a meeting near where you live. Please check the calendar at more2.org for events you can attend. You can be involved. For example, did you know their Environmental Action Hub opened last month in KC to take action and troubleshoot issues with East of Troost area residents? Find them at Leadership Training for the Environmental Action Hub, Tuesday, November 19th, 5:30 to 7:30 at Central Christian Church, 3801 Linwood Boulevard, Kansas City, Missouri. Reserve your seat by emailing j@more2.org. That's JAY@more2.org.